Let me set the scene. The year was 1998. I'd just gotten home from school and I flicked on the TV to watch the cartoons. I was greeted with a new show, Pokemon. Now I'm not sure what kind of brain-altering waves that show was emitting, but I felt like the whole world changed right there and then. Pogs were now out, and capturing and enslaving virtual pets and making them fight to the death was in. What a time to be alive. But Pokemon wasn't the only virtual pet fighting simulator in town. We also had the tech-savvy underdog Digimon, and the underdog's underdog, Monster Rancher, which featured rollerblading to the max. Of course, all of these cartoons had games to go with them. Monster Rancher and Pokemon both started out as video games, but I was made aware of them all through their animated counterparts. So today on Living Rad, I want to check out the underdog's underdog, Monster Rancher for the PS1. My name's Scott, and this is Saturday Morning Cartoon Game Reviews.
Monster Rancher is essentially a virtual pet raising simulator, rather than a JRPG like you might expect. It's much more focused on feeding your creature the right foods and training it to gain the skills you need to win the next battle, rather than exploring and talking to strangers to progress. Monster Rancher was released in the year 2000, the same year the cartoon hit our TVs. And it is actually the second game in the series. The first was never released in the PAL territories, hence why the 2 was dropped from the name. It was met with favourable reviews from the critics and has a cult following to this day. Now, you don't go around capturing monsters the same way as you do in Pokemon. The game actually has a very interesting mechanic. It essentially reads information from other CDs to generate a creature. So let's have a look at what Hellbastards Heading for More Darkness does for us.
So it looks like the creature created was way too powerful for me to handle at this point. So let's check out what Wake Up on Fire does for us instead.
Success! We have a Mr. Oizo looking creature. Now to name him. I think Firemon is fitting, seeing as it was the Wake Up on Fire album that birthed him. Well, he's not the coolest or meanest looking monster ever, but let's see what we can do with him in training. So he doesn't look super strong, but I reckon he's got reading in the bag. Ah, maybe not. Maybe I had it all wrong. Looks can be deceiving. Let's see how he gets on against these giant slabs. I reckon he's got it. Okay, training isn't his thing. Maybe he's a natural born fighter. Let's enter him into a tournament and see how he fares against some other monsters. Not great, admittedly. And he lost every single battle. Okay, he's not a natural born fighter. Maybe he could do with a bit more hardcore training. There's a thing called errantry, where basically you send your monster off for a month to do some more intensive training. Hopefully he'll come back a new monster, ready to take on the world. Time for a spot of camel punching. I think he might be an expert. Nice technique, I think he's done this before. Yep, success, finally. So he's certainly a skilled camel puncher. but let's see how he fares against an inanimate object, the rock. Looks like he's just taking a quick nap. Okay, he's awake. Now the idea is, he hits the rock so hard that it unleashes all the water that's trapped underneath. That was close, but no cigar. Okay, so it looks like he's going to have another crack at it. Let's hope that the rock is slightly weakened from his attempts yesterday. Come on Fireman, you got this. Well, I thought you had it, but you definitely don't. Well, it looks like he's done so badly at errantry, he's become sick and now has to go to the hospital. Fireman is definitely not shaping up to be the monster I was hoping for. He's certainly no prize fighter. Maybe a change in his diet might help. I'll try him with a treat of some meat. The high protein food might give him the boost that he needs. Okay, I can't blame him for that one. I could not afford that meat and I didn't realise, and now I'm completely out of money.
And that's it. The end of the road for poor old Fireman. I've got to say, the final nail in the coffin was definitely my fault. Poor money management led to his demise. I'm sorry, Fireman. Right, moving on. That's not the end of the road for Monster Rancher for me. I want to try something heavier musically. So next I'm going to try Carcass's Reek of Putrefaction and see what results it yields.
Wow, okay, this guy looks pretty good. And I think Carcass may be the perfect name for him as well. It will strike fear into the hearts of his enemies. Let's start right at the deep end and send him away for errantry for a month. I hope he fares better than Fireman and doesn't end up in hospital, because that was the beginning of the end really. First task a success. Excellent news. He's shaping up to be the ideal monster, and the camel surely doesn't have a chance. If Fireman could beat up the camel, then I'm sure Carcass can too. Oh no, what a disappointment. I hope I haven't got my hopes up too much. He's definitely not a camel puncher. Okay, he's going back for more. Let's hope he can redeem himself on his second turn. Is anyone else beginning to miss Fireman? Well, he didn't do nearly as well as I expected, but let's see what he can do with some more training.
Training montage. So after all of that grueling training, let's see how Carcass holds up in a real battle.
Let's hope all that hard work's paid off. It's time for the IMA's official cup, Grade E. Looks like our first opponent, Nats, was terrified of Carcass's intimidating looks and name. We're off to a really strong start. On to the second opponent and first real fight. Good luck, Carcass. I have absolutely no idea how to say his name, so I'll just refer to him as opponent. Carcass is looking very strong here. The opponent can't even touch him. Okay, maybe I spoke a bit too soon. The opponent's landed a couple of hits, doing some pretty bad damage. But Carcass was soon to recuperate and made a pretty strong comeback. Carcass landing a vicious final attack just before the bell rings. A clear and triumphant victory. Well done, Carcass. Fight number 3, and I can't lie, I'm feeling nervous. Oakley Man is looking strong, but that's not to say Carcass can't take him. Looks like they're both on their toes with neither of them able to land a hit. Carcass barely scratching Oakley Man there. And a couple more little digs, but next to no damage done. A devastating blow by Oakley Man, quickly followed by another, but Carcass's spirit can't be crushed. He tries his best to fight back, but Oakley Man's having none of it. He winds up for a devastating blow, followed by another one in quick succession. Carcass's first loss of the tournament, and saying it was a loss was putting it lightly. He was absolutely destroyed by Oakley Man. That's a strong monster. I wonder what CD I need to get one of those. Looks like Carcass has managed to dust himself off from that vicious KO, and now he's up against this dangerous looking kangaroo Harry Kicks. This looks like it's going to be a pretty close fight. They're both going for it tooth and nail. For every attack Harry Kicks lands, Carcass hits him straight back with one of his own. This is so close. Who's going to come out on top? Oh no, come on Carcass. A nice claw attack there from Carcass, followed by a near miss. And Harry Kicks just missing on the last second. And it's very close. But it's another win for Carcass. I knew he could do it. Time for fight number 5, and I don't think this Lontar stands a chance. And Carcass is all over him like a cheap suit. Lontar can't get a move in edgeways. And it looks like it's going to be a flawless victory for Carcass. Oh no, Lontar hits a tail assault, and another. And another. He hits with a disgusting spit attack and misses for the second. Another miss from Lontar and Carcass capitalises. And Carcass missing with his final attack, but at this point it doesn't matter, a clear victory. Somehow Carcass and Lontar are tied, so it looks like a rematch is in order. I don't think Lontar stands a chance if the last match was anything to go by. And it all rides on this last fight. Can Carcass win in first place, or will Lontar pull it out the bag and defeat him? A confident start, and Carcass is just dominating the fight. You'd think with that giant eye of Lontar's he'd be able to see the attacks coming. Carcass misses, and again, and he lands a claw assault. Lontar misses with a lick. This could be a flawless victory for Carcass. And a miss for Carcass in the final second, but none of that matters now. It's all over. Carcass has won without a scratch on him. I know a lot of people didn't believe in me. When I was at school they used to say, Scott, you'll never win the IMA Official Cup Grade E Monster Rancher Trophy. But look at me now. Just look at me now.
So what can I say about Monster Rancher on the PS1? It's a really fun game. Hours pass like minutes whilst you're playing. If you're into simulations or Pokemon or RPGs in general, it's well worth a try. Find a way and give it a go. Anyway, if you enjoyed my video, please give it a thumbs up. Thanks very much for watching, and I'll see you again next time on Living Rad.